Some of these picks are going to cause a lot of arguments in the comments. Welcome to the best daily running trainers of 2025. These are shoes that are going to excel in every type of run that you throw at them throughout your training week, and even on race day too. The one shoe to rule it all.
We have tested every major daily trainer from every major brand, and it is something we are incredibly passionate about here at the Running Channel. It can be so easy for the super shoes to grab the headlines when it comes to reviews, but these are the shoes that will put in the work so you can enjoy race day. We have pulled together 19 of the best and brightest and put them into 4 categories. So best cushion, best value, best looking, best support, and finally finishing off with our picks for Trainer of the Year and yours. So stay tuned for that.
So put your pick in the comments right now to see if yours come out on top, and let the battle commence.
Okay, so first up, we've got best cushion shoe. And while you might be saying, well, I don't want to cushion a shoe for my everyday, don't worry. We have found the shoes that have the balance between the versatility and cushion. It's not all about the chunk, it's how you use it.
Oh my God. But before we get started, let's preface this by saying that these are our own unbiased opinions. We haven't been paid by any brand to say anything nice about their shoes. So we've got lots of different people in the TRC office who have tested all of these different shoes. So we've got lots of different runners' opinions on this, and that's how we've picked our top picks.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do all the nominations in one shot with one breath, not with one breath. Right, here we go. We have the ASICS Superblast 2, the Cloudmonster Hyper, the New Balance 1080 V14s, the Hoka Bondi 9, and the Under Armour Infinite Elite 2.0.
Ooh, that was the second time doing it, but that was pretty good.
I only got this one wrong.
Shall we talk about the Superblast? Now, if you know the Novablast from ASICS, which is their incredibly popular, also daily trainer, this is the kind of super cushion version. You've done a lot of running in this one.
Yeah, it definitely is super in every way, including the price tag, but it is a great shoe, and it is a shoe that I would be comfortable saying, if you buy it, it is one shoe that could do everything. I've run 2 marathons in it and a lot of other races and training sessions as well. It's a great shoe. It is just so expensive.
Yeah, the other thing to consider with a kind of cushion trainer that you want to use for every single run is the grip and the durability on the bottom. So when you are looking at selecting a shoe, look at how much coverage they've got, especially with like a rubberized outsole rather than just being exposed to the kind of midsole foam, because that will affect the wear and tear of the shoe as well. But speaking of price, we definitely need to talk about that this is the most expensive shoe, the On Hyper Monster. It's a lot of money. It doesn't have a plate in it. However, this is the shoe that I've done probably most of my running in recently, and I love it. It's just so comfortable.
Yeah, you're talking about wear. This is a pair of shoes, these are Tom's, that have had some wear, and you can see the tread is wearing away a little bit here. So Tom obviously is a heel striker, but other than that, it's looking pretty good. And I really struggle with the On Cloudmonster 2. This Hyper is like a whole different shoe, and I love it for it. It's a great shoe. Cushioning's great, it's snappy, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's got the dual density foam that you might know from the kind of other On shoes in the lineup. So you have got a little bit of foam that you might find in their faster kind of elite carbon plated shoes, but you've also got nice cushioned soft foam as well. And it feels really stable despite looking a bit mental and being really high up. And it's also got the classic On design of the holes going through it, but you don't get too many stones stuck in there because the bottom has no holes. So that's good.
Definitely, that was my least favorite thing about On shoes, and they fixed it with these.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are fixed and are brilliant, this is the 1080 I absolutely adore. I could not get on that well with the V13s. They were just a bit too cushioned for like my size. This feels like they've created a more stable shoe, and it's one shoe to do everything. I went on holiday for 2 weeks. I only took literally this one pair of shoes and walked in it, ran in it, everything in it. It's awesome. Yeah,
it's got like a really lovely fit around the top of your foot. It does feel slightly wobbly compared to some of the other kind of max cushion shoes, but actually I found that that's really useful when you're trying to pick up speed, because that's where the cushion really comes into play. So if you are someone that does a kind of few faster sessions every single week, but you do just want that one pair of shoes, these are a really good option.
Yeah, and the fresh foam that they put in all these shoes now is just fantastically responsive. So it is a great shoe. And the shoe that has definitely not been worn by me, because these are tiny, the Hokas. And these are definitely, we're going to talk about best looking shoes in a minute, but I don't like this.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is, everyone's gone absolutely bonkers for max cushion shoes now. This was the original. This was the shoe that kind of went, yeah, no, you really can take the stack height up this high and this is what happens. I think they've really done a great design with the update. I love the colorway. I love how you can still see the old version of the shoe in this new update. One thing that Jess, who tested it, said is just be aware that in Hoka shoes in general, you might want to size up half a size. She did find that in her kind of usual size that she wears for trainers, it was a little bit tight around her toes. So definitely one to kind of try on before you go out for your first muddy run in them. Yeah,
but they've upped the stack height. So Hoka doing what Hoka does best and making it chunkier. Speaking of things that have changed and got a little bit chunkier, the Under Armour shoe.
Yeah, so this was what Jess wore last year to do her 10K challenge, but this is the updated version. So the biggest feedback that we had from the previous iteration of this shoe is that it was heavy. It was really lovely stack height. You could go fast in it, but you definitely felt the weight of this shoe. And the biggest update that they've done is shaving off a lot of weight. They've really done a lot of things with this second update. The shoe looks different, the silhouette's changed. They've made it a lot lighter. They've done all of the little improvements that you want from that first into the second version to make it a shoe that's going from good to great, and they've definitely pulled that off.
Yeah, and it looks, I think it looks a lot better as well. The silhouette, like you said, is great. Under Armour really stepping it up in the shoe game in 2025, which is awesome to see.
But now, what is our best pick of cushion shoes, James?
So we're saying that you want a shoe to do everything, races and all, so we've gone with the ASICS Superblast 2. It is a shoe that you can bet on well when it comes to race day, and it will perform, and you won't even realize that there's not a carbon plate in there. It is that good.
Tom on the running channel has a saying, look good, feel good, run good. And this category is very much about that. However, they're not just pretty covers. These shoes have all earned their place in this lineup on their merit of performance as well as looks.
Yeah, so kicking off, we've got the Brooks Ghost 16s, the ASICS Novablast 5s, the Mizuno Neo Vista, the Adidas Adizero EVO SL, and the Ultra Forward Via.
Great.
One. Sorry.
Should we start with these?
Yes.
So this is going to be a Marmite decision. However, we had to give a nod to just how funky this colorway is, because quite often the new colorways that come out on trainers are just a little bit dull and safe, but this is the opposite of that. So this is the collaboration that Brooks have done with Parkrun on the Ghost 16s, and I'm gonna have to say I love the design of the bottom. I love the design of the Brooks logo. The apricot all over is personally a bit too much for me, but if you're into your parkrun and you love it and you want to be proud and represent it, then this is very cool.
And yeah, this is the biggest selling shoe in America, and it's just a really reliable shoe. It has more of a drop than any other shoe out there, so 12 mil drop, so it might feel a little bit different, but the DNA loft they've got in this, the foam, is great. It's just a reliable shoe that people buy year in, year out.
It used to be the one where if you went to go get your gait analysed and you came out, 9 times out of 10 you would be in this shoe. Yeah. So definitely if you're looking to get into running and you just want one shoe to do everything that's solid and has been used and loved by people for years, then definitely go and check this out, especially if you like parkrun.
Yeah.
Right, should we talk next about the Novablast? So we talked about the Superblast before. This is the kind of slightly less cushioned version, although they're definitely kind of taking advice from each other. This has got a little bit more stack height than the previous one, and it's also got the new foam, which is the FF Blast Max.
Yeah, and like looks wise, I love the silhouette that they've cut into the foam. It just looks aggressive, cool, which is two things that most people say I am, aggressive and cool. But I love that it's not gone on trend with all the other shoe manufacturers out there. It's gone with this dark colorway, which is great.
Isn't it called, if you do it in your house, colour drenching? When you just do everything the same colour, the foam, the upper, the laces, with just a hint of pink coming through. I love this colourway, and this is a really solid, stable trainer that has a lot of different cool designs. And probably another thing to say as well is that these aren't the only colourways that these shoes come in. So if you do like the look of them, then head online, because there will be lots of different colours, and quite often, even if they're not doing an update to the shoe, the brands will do an update to the colourway or the colour pack each season, so you might have one that comes out that you like even more.
Yeah, and so this is like the opposite of the Ghost. This is the first iteration of the shoe, this Mizuno Neo Vista, and it is freaking cool. I don't want to swear because my mum watches these, but they are brilliant. They look amazing. It's a sock liner, so it's an all-in-one. Everything is attached. It has a plate, so it's one of the only shoes we've got here that actually does have a plate. So bear that in mind. You might not want to run in a plated shoe, but it is a shoe because of that will perform incredibly well at race day. I've run a half marathon and a 10K in these. and they're just brilliant. They're just fun.
Yeah, it's also not a carbon plate, so slightly more durable if you do want to use it as your daily trainer. But yeah, we got to test these just before they came out last year and absolutely love them. It is such a good, fun trainer, definitely if you want to pick up the paces as well, but equally can handle an easy run too. So a great all-rounder.
Yeah, and then if we talk about pedigrees, we think about the world's fastest shoe, and this is essentially the little sister of the world's fastest shoe, the Adidas 450-pound shoe. This is not, this is 130 pounds. So the cheapest out of the whole lot here. And I think it's great. It doesn't have the plates that the 450-pound shoe has, but it does have the same foam. And this foam is awesome. It is so snappy. And I just like the looks. It's so simple. It
is very simple. The only thing I would say is just think about durability. Yeah. So it does have some relatively good grip, but definitely compared to the Brooks and the ASICS, the grip on this shoe is kind of not to the same standard. So if you're running in really nice, smooth conditions and you want something that has a little bit of pop and you can go fast in, then this is a great option. But if you are running on rocky conditions or something where the grip of your shoe is really going to be tested, then this might not be the one that you want to test.
Yeah, but talking about sort of trail-ish shoes, the Ultra shoes they kind of came to fruition because of being a trail shoe and this weird silhouette they have. They have a enlarged toe box to basically let your feet breathe a bit. Mm-hmm. And this is essentially their gateway drug. Most of their shoes have 0 drop. So the difference between your toe and the heel, there is no difference. Whereas most shoes have a little bit just to kind of help you get forward a little bit more. This has a 4 mil. So it's the gateway drug into their 0 drop lifestyle. But that silhouette, the big toe box, but also this quite cool and simple colorway I really like. But if you don't like white shoes, these definitely aren't the ones for you.
Yeah, but it is worth noting that definitely if you have been running in like the Brooks Ghost 16s, that's 12 mil versus 4 mil. So take a bit of time to adjust if you are having a drastic change to the drop of your shoe, because it will slightly change the way that you run. But that is our picks for best looking. But what is our top favorite pick?
Again, I feel like we're going to create a lot of arguments, but this shoe, it just looks incredible. The fact that it is so different than every other shoe out there, that's why I think it deserves a spot on the pedestal as top best looking.
However, I have a question to ask. What colour sock would you wear with this shoe? Because it's kind of an off-white. Do you need a blue sock? Do you need a white sock? Do you need a black sock?
Or do you go like fluorescent and be really weird? Because that's my go-to.
Oh, let us know in the comments.
So this is a category that sees a lot of people skip, but don't. So this is best value. And you might think these shoes are not going to be as good as the other shoes, but these shoes made it into this whole video on merit alone. The price tag is what got them to here. So don't skip.
Yes, so we have the Kiprun KS 900.2, the PUMA Velocity Nitro 3, the Adidas Adizero SL2, the Kiprun KD 900.2, and then finally the Nike Pegasus 41. Woo! A lot of numbers, a lot of things going on. Let's unpack it.
Yeah, and we'll start with the ones that have the most confusing numbers. So the two Kiprun shoes here, they have like 900, so they must be similar shoes. Well, they're not. So the KD refers to dynamic, and the KS refers to support. So clear as mud. This is a more racery, faster shoe. This is a more recovery runs with stability elements to it. Basically, this shoe is chunky as hell. They added 10 millimeters of stack height from the previous one to this one, like just basically following what the rest of the market is doing. It's a heavy shoe. It is a shoe that will do great in the recovery runs, the slower paced runs, but don't expect to be breaking any PBs in these shoes. That's for sure.
But I do love the design of it. I also think no other brand has done this from what I've seen. The kind of design that they've cut into the foam also then comes up to go round the heel, which is quite cool. So that's something to consider, and it's such a good price point, especially if you do need a bit of stability to help support you.
Yeah, so the other shoe on the other end is their sort of race day trainer, and it looks racy. It is the shoe that kind of goes with the KD 900X LD, which is their carbon-plated racing shoe. It looks like the antithesis of that.
Yeah, it feels really fast as well and feels so cushioned. And a lot of the shoes will have quite like a flat silhouette if you look side on, whereas actually this one really goes up to kind of cup your arch a little bit, and it feels really nice underfoot.
Yeah, it's fast, but you still have the elements that you need in an everyday trainer. So there are these stability elements here and here, and a bit of cushioning up here and through here. So you're not sacrificing cushioning in the comfort. You're getting a really great shoe for the price point.
Feels like a great shoe if you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast and you know Rick, who only runs one pace. This is a very good shoe for him because he only ever wants to run fast, and that will definitely do it.
Yeah.
But going completely opposite to Rick, let's talk about high rocks, because this PUMA shoe is a high rocks favourite. So if you are not only looking for a daily trainer to do your running in, but you're also into your functional fitness and you want to be a hybrid athlete, not something I will ever call myself.
Same.
I struggle to get to the gym, but this is a strong, firm favourite in the high rocks community, and it is a really solid running shoe as well. So if you're not familiar with Puma's lineup of trainers, you've got the Velocity, which doesn't have a plate in it. Then you've got the DV8, which does have a plate in it. And then you've got the DV8 Elite, which is the kind of fastest shoe that you'll find on kind of elite marathoners' feet when they're racing. This shoe is really comfortable. It can tackle kind of anything that you want to throw at it. And this is another one of those, if I was just gonna chuck one shoe in my suitcase, this would probably what would be going in.
Yeah, and we were talking about how durability is an important element of everyday trainer. The reason why high rocks love this shoe is also a reason why your wallet and also running in wet weather is gonna love it, because the grip is just awesome. It's not massive, but it's complete coverage and it's grippy for the tiny little lugs it's got, which, yeah, makes it grippy for high rocks. But the nearest thing I'm gonna get to be a hybrid is if I ever plug myself into the wall.
Right, well, let's stick talking about grip, because in a previous category in this video, we had an Adidas shoe, and I'm not gonna lie, I never expected us to be putting an Adidas shoe into a best for value category, but here it is. This is a really good price point, and Adidas have definitely been attacking the kind of everyday market a little bit more with the Supernova Rise, the SL2 and the Evo SL as well, and the grip on this one makes it even better for your wallet, because this is definitely gonna sustain a lot of mileage and it has a really good level of grip too.
Yeah, it is a shoe that I feel like Adidas might not be making much money on, because it is so cheap for what they offer. It is a fantastic, with the light strike foam, it's definitely a shoe that could do races and you're faster, but it still feels like a shoe that will have your back when it comes to the slower mileage.
Warning though, if you do buy this shoe and then you end up buying the really expensive carbon plated one, that's what they are trying to get you to do. So just be warned, we've given you the warning.
Yeah, and it is quite narrow, so bear that in mind. We've covered these bad boys, so it only leaves the Nike shoe, Nike, which is the correct pronunciation, anyone in the comments? And it is, this isn't best looking, but this is the best colorway Nike have ever done, and I love it. It is the Bowerman prototype, and it just looks great, and it has little bits inside. It's a great shoe, but the reason why people love it is, you know, there's great grip. It is a 41st iteration of the shoe, so people know it. You know what you're gonna get. Now with the changes that Nike have done onto the different models that come with a shoe, there's a premium, there's a turbo, there's a Hujima flip, there's all these different models that come with it. But the OG will always be the best in terms of sales, because people know what they're getting. They know the Night React foam is gonna be great. They know that they're gonna get a shoe that they can rely on.
Definitely if you've been running for a while as well, like this is kind of what you would expect as a running shoe silhouette. It's so far away from all of the max cushion shoes that we started talking about, but it's still a great trainer. So if you're not someone who likes max cushion, then don't worry, it doesn't have to be for everyone. And look at the OG shoes that have had 41 iterations, like the Nike shoe, because they're still pretty good and they still help you for all of your runs.
Yeah, and it's not an expensive Nike, which seems shocking to say out loud.
But there can only be one winner, so who have we picked?
The shoe that I'm pretty sure might bankrupt Adidas is the SL2. It's just a fantastic daily trainer, and in the price point, it is bonkers that this shoe is able to be at that price point. Incredible. All right, it's best support shoes, so if you don't need these, go and grab a couple.
Whoa, no. You might not think you need a support shoe, but you might. I definitely thought I was in this category, and there is one of these shoes that I wear all the time, so stick around, because you might change your mind.
All right, okay. The nominations are the PUMA ForeverRun Nitro, the ASICS GEL-Kayano 31s, the Brooks Adrenaline 24s, and the Saucony Tempus 2. I had to slow down because I couldn't remember the number of it.
Very impressive. Now, the shoe that I was talking about is the PUMA. So all of these shoes will be using different densities of foam in order to provide you with support. So the reason you might need a support or a stability shoe is if you are rolling in, so overpronating when you run. This is something that happens to a lot of runners when you get tired. So it might not be that you need a stability shoe all of the time, but if you're looking for a recovery shoe or a really good staple shoe to wear for long runs, recovery runs, warm up, cool downs, to then supplement that faster shoe, this is where a stability shoe could actually come into its own. So the cool thing about the ForeverRun is that it's got dual density foam within the shoe. It's kind of got like a bit of a donut underneath, and it really feels like you are stable in this shoe. So I use this for a lot of different recovery runs. They come in lots of different colorways, so if bright pink isn't your thing, then don't worry, you have got other options, but it just works. It feels like a really nice, comfortable shoe, and it's a great staple to just throw on and know that you are getting that little bit of extra support when you need it.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of support, ASICS have gone for the 4D guidance system. Essentially, they have chucked every element that most shoes will put into a sport shoe into one shoe. So you've got dual density foam, you've got a much wider heel canter, a slightly wider toe box, and just overall little elements basically designed to keep that foot in as much as possible. But when they brought the 30 out, which was a massive overhaul, they basically were trying to encourage people to try these shoes on because, like you said, when people start to fatigue during a half marathon or a 5K, if you're as difficult training for 5K as I do, you will start to need the elements that they put in. It will help you stay more efficient as your gait starts to fatigue. And it's a great looking shoe, and this is one of most favourites. So if it's good with Mo, it's good with me.
Right, now let's talk about this from Brooks, the 24th iteration. So they've stuck with something and it's definitely doing the right thing because they've brought out so many different versions of this shoe. So GTS stands for Go To Support, which is literally written on this shoe as well. And it does have lots of different support elements in there, again, to help you keep stable. It's worth noting with stability shoes as well, though, that you're not going to feel it straight from the off. The support works where you need it. So if you don't need it at all, then you probably just won't notice the difference when you're running. But if you are kind of making those little tweaks or adjustments as you start to get tired, that's when the shoe kicks in and corrects it to stop it from happening, because rolling in, for example, can lead to a whole host of different injuries if it's happening all of the time and you're not noticing it and you're not correcting it. You're just doing that slump down at the end of a race that we all do and we all see from the race photos. This is a heavy shoe, and that is one thing to say with stability shoes in general. It's got more technology in there. It is a little bit weightier, but this is a really great option. This shoe also has a lot of great grip as well, so a really stable and durable shoe too.
Yeah, talking of weight, this shoe definitely bucks the trend that most of these do of being lightweight. This is a lightweight, doesn't particularly look like a stability shoe as well. But Saucony have done a great job, because one of their things that I love is the foam that they have in most of their other sort of racier shoes. But what they've done is they've just added another layer of foam into this. You can very clearly see it as well. So they've got the PowerRun PB foam here, and then they've added these elements of other density foam, which is a little bit harder foam to keep you locked in place, but it doesn't look like a stability shoe and it doesn't feel like one as well, which basically means if you need lots of support, this might not be the shoe for you. If you need a little bit, this might be the one. It
really feels like an exciting era for the stability shoe. I feel like it used to feel like a bit of a punishment, as that you need stability so your shoe's going to look a bit rubbish, whereas now the colourways are more exciting, the silhouettes are looking more like your regular everyday shoe, so definitely go and check them out. And our personal favourite pick is the PUMA, a really great support shoe that has changed a lot of minds in the TRC office, especially of whether people do need it. So go and see whether a stability shoe is for you.
Okay, we are through the categories, now we're on to the big ones, yours and ours. But first, we put a continuity error somewhere in this video. And if you want to win some TRC Club merch, I don't know what TRC Club is. Well, click up here and go read more about it. But if you want some merch from it, go and find the continuity error and comment where it was.
Oh, but now onto your pick. So make sure you are following us on social so that your voice is heard. But we asked, what is your favourite daily trainer of the year? And you chose this, the ASICS Novablast, a really great staple trainer, and I can see why so many of you love it.
Yeah, trusted year in, year out. Even though it's on the 5th iteration, I feel like it is one of the massive players when it comes to the everyday training market now, which is incredible.
Now should we go through our picks?
Yeah, you want to kick it off because I'm a bit more controversial?
Yeah, they are sat in front of me. It is the New Balance 1080 V14. I was obsessed with the idea of this shoe, but had never got on with previous versions. And this is the one that has ticked every single box for me. And I've done so many miles in it. And at the moment, I'm doing a lot of 5K training in this shoe. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself of like, I tried to get on, I love the idea of it, couldn't get on with it. V14, absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay, time for the controversial thing. My pick didn't make the rest of the categories. So I've picked 2.
Explain.
So we've got the Brooks Hyperion Max 2, which I've run lots, as you can tell, miles in. It has a plate, so it's difficult to kind of recommend for everybody because we wouldn't recommend you do all your miles in plate. It's a plastic plate, so it's not as aggressive. Basically, it's not going to be the main pick because we didn't get it in the rest of the categories, but I wanted to mention it here. So what I have picked is the Cloudmonster Hyper. It's a cool shoe. It actually works as a cool shoe. It's a great running shoe. I just love it. Even though these are Tom's battered ones, I might need these as well. They are just a fantastic shoe. And On just seems to be knocking it out of the park with shoes now.
It is a very, very good trainer. And it's a good point. You might not have just one shoe. If you are, then we've gone through some great options. But if you do want to pair up a great staple trainer without a plate with a slightly faster, speedier shoe with a plate, then that is a great pairing. But that is what we think are the best daily trainers of 2025. Let us know what you think in the comments. And now, if you want to watch what we think of watches, then go and watch this.
That was a lot of watches.